Today I want to talk a little bit about legendary gear and why it's a problem. I know that it has been announced that Tier 3 is gonna be coming and legendary gear is still gonna be relevant over Tier 3, which is a good thing. I think Tier 3 will be interesting in the gear management and in the aspect of we're probably gonna get new weapons with different passives, so that's gonna spice the game a little bit. But regardless, even with Tier 3, I do want to talk about why legendary gear is a problem. I think achieving your legendary gear itself is not a problem, like getting your first piece of legendary gear. Every week you're basically guaranteed to get one legendary piece gear from the normal rate, which is pretty easy, and with them making the hard rate a little bit easier, everyone should be able to get around 2 pieces of gear every week. Most of the players at least, most of the players are gonna get 1 piece of gear, and most of the dedicated players are gonna be getting 2 pieces of gear and the hardcore players are gonna be getting 3 pieces of gear, right? So that's good. There's always gonna be a decent inflow of gear coming to the game. Of course, the problem behind it is there's a lot of RNG in what piece you're gonna get, right? So a lot of times you're not gonna get the gear piece that you want, so it's basically useless. And then the good part is you can break that piece of gear for more enchanted shards, and then you can just buy whatever the fuck you need. Sorry for the language. You can buy whatever you need here on the shop, right? Uh, and from that, you can just start building your things. The bigger problem with that is that the rolls that you get on your weapons are gonna matter a lot. So, for example, if I roll a weapon that doesn't have any of the 2 status that I want, for example, this one I use Magic Heavy and Heavy Attack, if I roll 2 different status, that's gonna cost like a lot of resources to fix. It's gonna cost 1.26 thousand purple stones. It's gonna cost a decent chunk of blue stones as well, and Kalantia shards, if I'm not mistaken, is 30 per line, so 60 Kalantia shards. So by choosing to follow that route, you're not gonna be able to even buy more gear here and like spend more gear here. So it's gonna be really tough. It is really tough to do your legendaries. But that's not the worst part because it's doable. Like I got decent lucky on my rolls here, and then I just had to swap like 2 or 1 on every piece, which I already did with my besting slot. So it is doable, but it does have a lot of RNG behind it. If you're grinding the normal and then hard dungeon, they're gonna get next week, right? Post patch. It's very easy to start stacking every week and being able to swap the lines that you need or buying the gear that you need. And slowly setting up your build. With the accessories coming, it's gonna be a little bit more of a grind again. But thankfully, we can buy that on the shop. It's gonna be 80 fragments from what I have read. So that's also gonna be pretty manageable. So that's a good thing. Legendary gear is not that terrible in that aspect. But we have to talk about the legendary traits. The legendary traits is an abomination of a system, okay? The only way you can get your legendary traits is when you get the weapon, the extract, be it from the boss drop or from the satchels that you can buy on the shop, which has like a really low drop rate for any extracts. I think it's 1% or something like that. It's terrible, honestly. So from dropping that, you have 1/5 of a chance to get where is it? It's this, I think. No, it's not. Oh, give me 1 second. Sorry. Where is here? So you have 5% chance to drop an heroic trait from that item, and that's for both of your items. Like the gear, and I imagine for the accessory is gonna be the same thing. So the chance of getting an heroic trait is 1 in 20. So you need to take into consideration that you're gonna be doing dungeons, right? And you're gonna be getting drops from those dungeons, and those drops from this dungeon are gonna have to be the right drops. For example, I cannot use right traits from other pieces other than the cloak for the cloak. I need an evasion heroic trait from a cloak. I cannot use the evasion heroic trait from, let's say, a chest piece. It needs to be the cloak, so I need to hit the cloak And on the cloak, I need to hit a 120 chance of it being an heroic trait, so I can put that on my current cloak. That's wild. And you're gonna need to hit on the evasion of the heroic trait, because there's 5 heroic traits here, right? So I need to hit the heroic trait and the right heroic trait. Otherwise, I'm gonna need to get the current heroic trait from that piece of gear, the cloak, and swap that for the right heroic trait, so then I can upgrade my main heroic trait, which is mega convoluted. And I mean, it's how it works on normal gear, but the difference is on the normal gear you get a lot of normal gear, enough that you end up getting duplicates, enough that you don't need to go through all of that to upgrade this, right? So I do need to talk about heroic traits, because it is extremely pay to win at the moment. Like, it's not reasonable to grind heroic traits. It's not like an arc boss weapon, which you can join a guild, a dedicated, more hardcore guild, and like grind your points to get one from the guild, like using the guild system, be it external, like the Dragon Key points, the DKP, right? This is pure paywall. You cannot just, oh, I'm gonna get this through my guild, or I'm gonna improve this piece of gear through my guild. You're stuck depending on a very, very extreme RNG odds for the heroic traits, or you just grind your Lucent or buy your Lucent and buy straight up from the auction shop, which is not ideal, because you're literally putting the only progression behind a core status, because this can give you some really core status, as you can see, like it can give you endurance, evasion, heavy attack evasion, critical damage resistance, and same thing on the weapons. It can give you some raw base status, and on the accessories also gonna be very decent. From what I saw, it can be hit, evasion, and other things. So it's very significant status behind literally paywalls that you cannot grind through. I have seen people saying, "Oh, you're just gonna get that over time." You're not getting that over time. Of course, you can grind your Lucent over time and buy it. That's one thing. That's one way. You're getting Lucent to get it, but you're not getting the gear, the progression yourself over time, because you need to hit a 120 chance. First, you need to hit the right drop height pool, so you need to hit either the weapon or the right piece of equipment that you need, for example the cloak, the chest, whatever you said. And then after hitting that pool, you need to hit a 120 of the pool chance to get an heroic trait, and of the heroic trait you need to a 1/5 of a chance to hit the right trait that you need, so you don't need to waste more resources swapping that heroic trait to your right to the right heroic trait, be it like hit, evasion, or perception slash dex or whatever other status, right? So you don't need to fix that one to upgrade your original one. So the thing behind it is insane. The calculations behind it, like if you're getting 1 drop per week or 2 drops per week, it's crazy, because you're gonna be getting like the chance of you getting an heroic trait. Let's say if you're getting two pieces of gear per week, right? 2 pieces of gear per week, then it's gonna be 120, so it's gonna be 1/10, right? So you're gonna need around 5 weeks. That's on an average, like a month and a little bit more, to get 1 heroic trait. That's your average. You're gonna need a whole month for 1 tick of heroic trait. And that's if you hit the weapon or the right piece of gear. So for the cloak, for example, that I need, right? If not, if you take that into calculation, it's gonna be even worse. It's gonna probably be like hitting 1 piece of gear every like 3 months. So you're gonna like upgrade 1 tick of perception or 1 tick of evasion every 2 to 3 months naturally, right? If you don't buy anything. So I do want to talk about it, and I think it's a big problem that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's really paywall right now. And I really hope they, by tier 3, by the progression of the game, by through events, or through ease of drop hates, maybe the Nightmare has specifically drop hates for heroic gear or heroic traits. That would be amazing, but I don't think there's gonna be. So I'm making this video to push awareness of how ridiculous heroic traits are, and how we should not just normalize this, because if this becomes the norm in other things in the future, it's literally gonna be only behind paywalls, and there's no way to grind around it otherwise than grinding Lucent to buy it. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, the game was alright pay to win." I agree to an extent; it has always been pay to win, but it have always had ways to get things. For example, arc boss weapons. Yeah, but you can grind with your guild your points to get one arc boss weapon. It's a lot more doable and it's a lot more achievable than this grind that is fully dependent on drop of RNG that you are tied to one or two drops per week, you know? Of a gigantic pool that you need to get lucky like 3 times in a row to get whatever you need. So that's about it. I just really wanted to talk about this because I don't think people get how hard it is to get this heroic trait fully leveled right now. And I know a lot of people are not even fully basic traded level on legendary stuff, so I just want to put this out there. I definitely whaled, not whaled, but I use all my saved Lucent to get to this point that I am right now. And the more I look into it, the more impossible it seems to finish this unless I grind more Lucent to buy it or buy more Lucent. So I just want to put this out there in case you're not aware how insane heroic traits are. That's about it. Thank you for watching. See ya.